Captain Kim Tae-sung checked his instruments for the third time in 10 minutes. The Soul's Pride drifted silently through the asteroid belt near Jupiter, her stealth systems keeping her invisible to most sensors. This patrol route was usually boring, but today something felt different. "Control, this is Tae-sung. Everything looks normal out here," he spoke into his headset. The response crackled back from Earth, 23 minutes away at light speed. "Copy that, Tae-sung. Keep your eyes open." The deep space stations picked up some strange readings yesterday. Tae-sung had heard about those readings. Energy signatures that didn't match anything in their databases. His commanding officer, Lee Dae-ho, had seemed worried during the morning briefing. That was unusual. Dae-ho never worried about anything. The captain adjusted his position to get a better view of the outer system. Earth looked so small from here, just a blue dot next to the sun. It was hard to believe that tiny world held 8 billion people, all living their lives without knowing what might be coming. Dr. Park So-min sat in her laboratory on Luna Station, studying the data from the deep space monitors. As Earth's chief xenobiologist, she had spent years preparing for this moment. First contact with alien life. She had always imagined it would be peaceful. A radio signal, maybe, or a probe that clearly showed intelligence. She had not imagined it would look like this. The energy readings showed massive objects moving through space at incredible speeds. Whatever was creating these signatures was bigger than anything humans had ever built. Much bigger. "Dr. Park?" Her assistant knocked on the door. "Commander Dae-ho wants to see you right away." So-min gathered her data and hurried to the command center. Dae-ho stood before a wall of screens, his face grim. Behind him, Admiral Choi Hyun-woo watched the displays with cold eyes. "Doctor, what? Can you tell us about these readings?" Dae-ho asked without turning around. "They're artificial, Commander, no doubt about it. The patterns are too regular to be natural, and the size—" She paused, checking her notes. "We're talking about objects. At least 5 kilometers long. Maybe bigger. How many? At least 50, possibly more." "They're still coming." Admiral Choi stepped forward. "Doctor, in your professional opinion, what are their intentions?" So-min hesitated. She had studied alien psychology for years, but this was all theory. No one knew how real aliens would think or act. "I can't say for certain, Admiral. But their approach pattern suggests they're not trying to hide. If they wanted peaceful contact, they would probably have sent a smaller ship first." "This looks more like an invasion fleet," Troy finished. The room fell silent. Everyone knew this day might come eventually. Earth had been sending radio signals into space for over 200 years. Someone was bound to notice eventually. Ambassador? Yoon Ji-woo received the emergency call while she was having dinner with her family. 20 minutes later, she was on a transport to Geneva, where the United Earth Council was holding an emergency session. "Madam Ambassador," the Secretary General greeted her as she entered the secure briefing room. "Thank you for coming so quickly." The room held the most powerful people on Earth, military commanders, scientists, politicians. All of them looked scared. "What's the situation?" Ji-woo asked. "See for yourself." The main screen showed a tactical display of the solar system. Red dots marked the incoming objects. There were so many of them. "They'll reach Earth orbit in 18 hours, the Secretary General explained. "Our best estimates suggest each ship could carry thousands of beings. We need to decide how to respond." "Have we tried communicating with them?" "We've sent signals. On every frequency we know, no response." Wu studied the display. "What are our military options?" General Song Haijin, Earth's top military strategist, stood up. "Limited. We have the orbital defense platforms and about 30 patrol ships. Against this ... she gestured at the screen. "It wouldn't be much of a fight. So we surrender?" "We prepare for the worst and hope for the best," Admiral Choi said. He had been quiet until now, but something in his voice made everyone listen. "There are things about Earth's defenses that most of you don't know. Things we've kept secret for good reasons." "What kind of things?" the Secretary General demanded. "The kind that might give us a chance." Back in space, Tae-sung was the first human to see them with his own eyes. The ships appeared without warning, dropping out of faster-than-light travel, in flashes of twisted space. His instruments screamed warnings as dozens of massive objects suddenly filled his screens. The ships were like nothing in human imagination. They looked alive, with surfaces that pulsed and flowed like skin. Each one was the size of a city, bristling with weapons and strange organic-looking structures. "Control, this is Tae-sung," he whispered into his radio, afraid the aliens might somehow hear him. "They're here. God help us. They're here." The response came back immediately. Dae-ho's voice was calm, professional. "We see them, Tae-sung. Stay hidden and observe. Do not engage. Roger that, Control." Taesung watched as smaller ships began launching from the massive vessels. Hundreds of them, heading straight for Earth. His hands shook as he started his engines and began following at a safe distance. On the lead alien ship, War Prime Vexthal examined the tactical display with satisfaction. This would be easy. The target world showed no significant military presence. A few primitive orbital stations and some basic chemical rockets. His advanced scouts had been watching for weeks without being detected. Begin the landing operations, he commanded. I want major population centers secured within 6 hours. Yes, War Prime, his subordinate replied. Shall we broadcast surrender demands? Why bother? They have nothing that could threaten us. Dr. So-min watched the approaching ships on her screens and felt a mixture of terror and wonder. This was the moment she had trained for her entire career. First contact with an alien species. But it was nothing like she had imagined. Commander Daeho, she said quietly. We should try to communicate with them. Maybe they don't understand that we're intelligent. Maybe this is all a misunderstanding. Daeho looked at her with something like pity. Doctor, these aren't explorers. Or scientists. Look at their ships. Look at their formation. These are soldiers. On the main screen, they could see the alien dropships entering Earth's atmosphere. Cities around the world reported strange objects in their skies. Panic was starting to spread. Sir, a communications officer called out. We're getting reports from Beijing, New York, and London. The alien ships are taking positions over major population centers. Any hostile actions yet? No, sir. They're just waiting. Admiral Choi stepped forward and placed his hand on a control panel that most people in the room had never noticed before. Daeho, initiate Protocol 7. Daeho's eyes widened. Sir, are you certain? Do it. Daeho turned to his communications officer. Send the activation codes to all units. Authorization Omega 77. Around the solar system, things began to change. Hidden sensors activated. Concealed weapon systems came online. Ships that had been disguised as asteroids powered up. Their engines. War Prime Vexthal was studying the primitive orbital stations when his sensor operator made an alarming report. War Prime, I'm detecting new energy signatures, many of them. What kind of signatures? Unknown, sir. They appeared suddenly all around the system. Vexthal frowned. His intelligence reports had said this species was barely capable of chemical rockets. What were these new readings? On Earth, in hidden bunkers and secret facilities, humanity's true military began to wake up. Admiral Choi looked around the room at the shocked faces of the political leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, he said calmly, it's time you learned what we've really been building out there. The main display changed, showing a new tactical view of the solar system. Instead of a few small patrol ships, it now showed hundreds of contacts. Ships, weapons platforms, and installations that had been hidden from all but the highest security clearances. Ambassador Jiwoo stared at the display in amazement. How long have you been building this? 30 years, Admiral Choi replied. Ever. Since we first detected radio signals from space that weren't ours, we knew this day would come eventually. Captain Taesung received new orders on a secure channel. Orders that made him smile grimly as he armed his ship's weapon systems. The aliens thought they were attacking a primitive world. They were about to learn otherwise. All units, this is Control. Daeho's voice came over the command frequency. The time for hiding is over. Show them what humans really are. War Prime Vexthal watched his tactical display with growing confusion. The primitive world below was supposed to have only basic defenses. But his sensors now showed dozens of new contacts appearing throughout the system. Report, he commanded. Sir. Massive energy signatures are coming online? Unknown vessel types emerging from asteroid cover. I count ... 67 new contacts and rising. Vexthal's mandibles clicked in annoyance. His intelligence had been wrong. But it didn't matter. His fleet was still vastly superior to whatever these creatures could field. Begin the bombardment. Destroy their orbital installations first. But before his weapons could fire, something streaked past his flagship at impossible speed. Then another. And another. Captain Kim Tae-sung led the first wave of Earth's hidden fighter squadron. His ship, the Soul's Pride, had seemed like a simple patrol craft. Now her true capabilities showed as she accelerated past the speed of sound in vacuum. Her experimental drive leaving a trail of blue energy. Ghost Squadron, this is Taesung. Target the lead ships. Use Pattern 7. 12 fighters that had been invisible moments before suddenly appeared around the alien fleet. They moved like nothing the Kralliks had ever seen, dancing between energy blasts and striking at weak points with surgical precision. Dr. Kong, Minji watched from her hidden laboratory beneath the moon's surface. For 20 years, she had worked on the Aurora project in secret. The faster-than-light drive was almost ready, but not quite finished. Today, she would have to make it work anyway. Dr. Kong, her assistant called out. We're getting strange readings from the alien ships. Their faster-than-light systems are different from our theories. Minji studied the data flowing in from the battle. The alien technology was fascinating. Their ships used some kind of space-folding mechanism that was completely different from Earth's experimental quantum tunnel approach. Can we copy it? She asked. Maybe, if we can get close enough to scan their drive cores. Then we better make sure our pilots know what to look for. Admiral Choi Hyun-woo stood in a command center that didn't officially exist. Built into an asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter, the facility had been constructed over 3 decades by robots and automated systems. Even most of Earth's military didn't know it was here? Admiral, Colonel Park Jae-hyun reported from his strike. Team's position. Shadow Battalion is in position. We can board their command ship on your order. Choi studied the tactical display. The alien fleet was powerful, but their tactics were outdated. They fought like they expected easy victory against a primitive enemy. That overconfidence would be their weakness. Hold position, Colonel. Let them see what our ships can do first. The hidden defense platforms were coming online across the solar system. What had looked like ordinary asteroids suddenly revealed themselves as massive weapons installations. Energy beams lanced out from concealed positions, striking the alien ships with devastating force. On the moon, other hidden systems activated. The surface cracked open in dozens of places, revealing missile launchers and particle beam cannons. Luna Station wasn't just a research facility. It was a fortress. Dr. Park So-min watched the battle from her laboratory with mixed feelings. As a xenobiologist, she was fascinated by the alien ships and technology. As a human being, she was terrified. Doctor, her assistant said urgently. We're receiving data from Captain Taesung's fighter. He managed to scan one of their smaller ships before it was destroyed. So-min looked at the readings. The alien technology was incredible, but she could see weaknesses. Their ships were powerful but inflexible. They seemed designed for fighting enemies who would stand still and trade shots. Send this to Dr. Kang immediately, she ordered. She wanted to see their drive technology. The battle was not going as War Prime Vexthal had expected. His advanced ships were taking heavy damage from weapons that shouldn't exist. These humans fought with tactics he had never encountered. War Prime, his sensor operator reported. We're losing ships faster than anticipated. Their fighters are using some kind of stealth technology. They appear and disappear at will? Impossible. Our sensors are the best in known space. Sir, perhaps we should call for reinforcements from the main battle fleet. Vexthal's pride stung at the suggestion. But he was a practical military commander. These humans were more dangerous than expected. Send the signal. Tell Fleet Command. We need immediate support. Captain Taesung rolled his fighter through a barrage of alien fire and came up behind a Krolix destroyer. His targeting computer locked onto what looked like a vital system, and he fired his plasma cannons. The alien ship exploded in a brilliant flash. Ghost Leader to all units, he broadcast. Target the glowing sections on their hulls. That seems to be where they keep their important systems. Around him, the hidden fleet of Earth was revealing itself piece by piece. Ships that had waited decades for this moment emerged from asteroid caves and lunar bunkers. They were smaller than the alien vessels, but they were fast and deadly. Dr. Kang Min-ji made a breakthrough as she studied the captured alien technology. Their faster-than-light drive used quantum manipulation in a way she had never considered. Combined with Earth's own research, she could create something entirely new. This is incredible, she whispered to herself. They're folding space, but we've been trying to tunnel through it. If we combine both approaches... Her fingers flew over the controls as she began modifying the Aurora Project's drive system. It was dangerous to make changes during a battle. But the potential was too great to ignore. Admiral Choi received reports from across the solar system. The hidden defense network was performing better than hoped. Weapons that had never been tested in real combat were destroying alien ships with devastating efficiency. Admiral, his communications officer reported. We're detecting massive energy signatures approaching from deep space. It looks like the aliens are calling for help. How long until they arrive? 18 hours, sir. Choi nodded grimly. Phase 1 of the battle was going well, but the real test was yet to come. Colonel Park Jae-hyun led his Shadow Battalion through the corridors of a captured Krolix ship. His soldiers wore armor that made them nearly invisible and carried weapons, designed specifically for fighting in alien environments. Remember, he told his team through their secure comm system, we need their command computers intact. Dr. Park needs that technology data. The alien corridors were strange and twisted, designed for beings with different body shapes than humans. But Park's soldiers had trained for this. They moved through the ship like ghosts, striking down alien crew members before they could raise an alarm. On Earth, the population watched in amazement as their planet's true defenses revealed themselves. The orbital bombardment they had feared never came. Instead, their hidden military was driving the aliens back. Ambassador Yun Jiwoo worked frantically to coordinate the global response. Every government wanted to know how their military had built such powerful weapons in secret. How long have you been planning this? The Secretary General demanded. Since we first detected alien radio signals in 2127, Admiral Choi replied via secure link, we knew this day would come. We just didn't know when. Dr. Kang Minji's modifications to the Aurora project drive were ready for testing. The first successful, faster-than-light jump by a human vessel would happen during a battle. It was not how she had planned it, but sometimes history didn't wait for perfect conditions. Aurora, this is Control, she broadcast to the test ship. Are you ready for the jump? Ready as we'll ever be, Dr. Kang? Remember, this is experimental technology. If anything goes wrong, abort immediately. Understood. Beginning jump. Sequence now. Space twisted around the small test ship as the drive activated. For a moment it seemed to stretch and blur. Then it vanished completely. 3 seconds later, it reappeared behind the alien fleet. Jump successful, the pilot reported. We did it. We actually did it. War Prime Vexel stared at his displays in disbelief. The human ship had just moved faster than light using technology his sensors couldn't understand. How was this possible? War Prime, his communications officer reported. Fleet Command is responding to our request for reinforcements. Admiral Kethver is bringing the entire 7th Battle Group. Good, tell him to bring everything he has. These humans are not what they appear to be. Captain Taesung received new orders as the battle continued. His squadron was to escort Dr. Kang's test ship on a special mission. They were going to steal alien technology right from under the enemy's nose. Ghost Squadron, form up on Aurora 1, we're going hunting. The small human ships accelerated toward the largest alien vessel, moving faster than the enemy could track. The battle for Earth's freedom was just beginning, but humanity was no longer hiding what it could do. As the alien reinforcements approached from deep space, Earth prepared to show the galaxy that humanity would not go quietly into the night. The space around Earth suddenly filled with new ships. But these weren't more Krallick's reinforcements. These vessels were different, sleek, elegant, and massive beyond anything either humans or Krallick's had seen before. Council Speaker Thurin materialized on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Wisdom. As a being of pure energy, he didn't need a physical form, but he took one to communicate with the various species under Galactic Council protection. Today his form glowed brighter than usual. He was not pleased. Report, he commanded in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Science-Coordinator Zeph, a crystalline being from the Veltar system, consulted her instruments. Council Speaker, we have a situation unlike any in our records. We detected an illegal invasion of a protected primitive world, but when we arrived, the primitive world is fighting back, successfully. Thurin studied the tactical display with growing amazement. The human ships moved with precision and technology that rivaled some of the Council's own members. Energy weapons, stealth systems, and most shocking of all, faster-than-light capability. How is this possible? Our surveys clearly marked this. Species as pre-spaceflight, sir, they were pre-spaceflight. 30 years ago? But somehow they developed advanced technology while remaining classified as primitive. On Earth, Admiral Lee Soo-jin received the emergency promotion that made her the commander of humanity's deep space fleet. She was Daeho's sister and had been secretly training for this moment her entire career. Admiral, her communications officer reported, we're getting signals from the new ships. They're not Krallick's. What are they saying? It's a general broadcast. On multiple frequencies. They're demanding that all hostilities cease immediately. They identify themselves as the Galactic Council Enforcement Division. Soo-jin studied the new arrivals. The ships were beautiful but clearly designed for war. Their weapons could probably destroy Earth's entire fleet without breaking a sweat. Open a channel, she ordered. Let's see what they want. Ambassador Yun Jiwoo found herself facing the most important moment in human history. The secure communication from the mysterious Galactic Council was routed directly to her in Geneva. A holographic figure appeared before her, humanoid but clearly alien, glowing with soft blue light. I am Council Speaker Thurin of the Galactic Council. You are the representative of the species known as humans? I am Ambassador Yun Jiwoo, representing the United Earth Government, she replied carefully. May I ask why you're here? We came to investigate an illegal invasion of a protected world, but we find something impossible. According to our records, your species should be incapable of spaceflight. Yet you possess technology that rivals advanced galactic civilizations. Jiwoo took a deep breath. This was the moment that would define humanity's place in the galaxy. Council Speaker Thurin, with respect, we never asked to be classified as primitive. We developed our technology independently and in secret because we knew the galaxy was a dangerous place. Dr. Park So-min watched the conversation from her laboratory, her heart racing. As Earth's chief xenobiologist, she was finally meeting aliens, but not at all how she had imagined. Dr. Park, her assistant whispered, are you recording all of this? Every word, she replied. This is the most important scientific event in human history. On the main council ship, Science Coordinator Zeph made a discovery that would change everything. Council Speaker, she reported urgently. I've completed my analysis of the human technology. The quantum signatures don't match any known development pattern in our database. What does that mean? Sir, their faster-than-light drive uses principles we've never seen before. Their energy weapons operate on theories our best scientists consider impossible. Either they're the most brilliant species we've ever encountered, or what? Or their technology comes from outside our galaxy. War Prime Vexthal found himself in an impossible situation. His invasion force was being defeated by primitives, and now the Galactic Council was demanding he stop fighting immediately. War Prime, his communications officer reported. Admiral Kethver's reinforcement fleet has arrived at the edge of the system, but the Council ships are blocking their approach. Tell Kethver to hold position. We cannot fight both the humans and the Council. But Vexthal is pride as a warrior. Would not let him simply retreat. His people had never lost to an inferior species. There had to be another way. Captain Kim Tae-sung received new orders that made him smile grimly. His fighter squadron was to escort Ambassador Jiwoo's shuttle to the Council flagship. Humanity's first diplomatic mission to an alien power would happen during a battle. Ghost Squadron, Formation Alpha. We're playing escort duty now? The shuttle Sol launched from Earth's surface, carrying Ambassador Jiwoo and a small diplomatic team. As they approached the massive council ship, Tae-sung marveled at its size. The thing was like a floating city. Ambassador, he called over the comm. Looks like they're opening a docking bay for us. Thank you, Captain. Wish us luck. Ambassador. Jiwoo stepped aboard an alien starship for the first time in human history. The corridors were vast and filled with beings from dozens of different species. Some walked on legs, others floated, and a few seemed to be made of living metal. Council Speaker Thurin met her in a chamber that defied physics. The walls showed a perfect view of space in all directions, as if they were floating in vacuum. Ambassador Jiwoo, Thurin said formally, before we proceed, I must ask you directly. How did your species develop faster-than-light travel? We built it, she replied simply. Our scientists worked on the project for decades. That's impossible. No species develops such technology without guidance from the Council. We monitor all developing civilizations to prevent exactly this kind of dangerous advancement. Yet here we are. Dr. Kang Min-ji was working frantically in her laboratory when the breakthrough came. The alien technology samples that Colonel Park's team had captured were revealing secrets that changed everything she thought she knew about physics. This is incredible, she whispered to her assistant. Their faster-than-light system doesn't just bend space. It folds multiple dimensions simultaneously. If we could combine this with our quantum tunnel approach. She began modifying the Aurora project again. But this time, she wasn't just improving human technology. She was creating something entirely new. Science Coordinator Zeph made another disturbing discovery as she studied the battle data. Council Speaker, the human tactical patterns are familiar. I've been comparing them to historical records. What did you find? Sir, they fight like the architects. Theron's energy form flickered with shock. That's impossible. The architects vanished millions of years ago. I know, sir. But the similarities are undeniable. The way they use small, fast ships, their preference for defensive positions, even their weapon designs show architect influence. On Earth, Admiral Choi Han-woo made a decision that would change galactic history. He activated the deepest secret in Earth's military. Files, Project Lighthouse. Admiral Sujin, he broadcast on the secure command frequency, it's time to show them who we really are. Throughout the solar system, hidden installations began broadcasting on frequencies that had been silent for millions of years. Ancient signals that only one extinct civilization had ever used. Council Speaker Thurin felt something he had never experienced before, pure amazement. The quantum signatures coming from Earth were impossible. They matched records from the mythical architects, the builders of galactic civilization. Ambassador Jiwoo, he said slowly, where did your people come from? Earth, she replied. We evolved there over millions of years. No, that's not what I mean, your ancestors. Where did they come from originally? Before Ji-woo could answer, alarms began sounding throughout the council ship. Science Coordinator Zeph's voice echoed through the chamber. Council speaker, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the human homeworld. The quantum patterns match architect technology perfectly. Impossible readings are coming from beneath the planet's surface. Admiral Sujin watched as Earth began to change. The planet's surface cracked open in hundreds of places, revealing structures that had been hidden for geological ages. Ancient systems were coming online, powered by technology that made even the Council's ships look primitive. War Prime. Vexthel stared at his tactical display in horror. The primitive world he had tried to conquer was transforming before his eyes. Energy readings were climbing to levels that could threaten his entire fleet. War Prime, his sensor operator reported in a shaking voice. The planet itself is powering up. I'm reading weapon systems that could destroy our entire battle group. Captain Taesung's fighter squadron was recalled to Earth as the ancient systems activated. As he approached his homeworld, he saw something that would stay with him forever. Earth wasn't just a planet anymore. It was revealing its true nature as a massive, sleeping starship. Ambassador Ji-woo felt the truth dawning as she watched Theron's reaction to the unfolding events. You know what this means, don't you? She asked. Your people, Theron said in a voice filled with awe. They're not just any species. They're the children of the architects. The founders of galactic civilization have returned. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity wasn't seeking membership in galactic civilization. They were its missing founders, finally ready to reclaim their birthright. Outside, the Admiral Kethver arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system with the largest Kralix battle fleet ever assembled. 200 massive warships, each one capable of destroying a city. He had come to salvage his species' honor after War Prime Vexthel's embarrassing defeat. Admiral, his sensor operator reported. The Council ships are demanding we withdraw immediately. Ignore them, Kethver snarled. The Council has no authority over Kralix military operations in unclaimed space. Sir, they're powering weapons, so are we. Begin the assault. General Song Haijin watched the approaching fleet from her command center deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. She had spent 30 years designing Earth's defense network. Today, she would find out if her theories about asymmetric warfare actually worked. General, her aide reported. The Kralix fleet is moving into the outer system. Council ships are trying to intercept, but the aliens are ignoring them. Perfect, Song said with a cold smile. They're coming exactly where we want them. She pressed a series of controls that activated systems throughout the solar system. Suddenly, space itself became humanity's weapon. Jupiter's massive magnetic field surged with new power as hidden installations came online. The giant planet's natural radiation was focused and directed into a beam of pure destruction that struck the lead Kralix ships. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Engineer Lim Jong-suk watched his masterpiece activate from a bunker on Mars. For decades he had worked on weapons that could destroy ships without conventional explosives. Today, his singularity torpedoes would be tested in real combat. All Mars batteries, this is Jong-suk. Target the enemy command ships, fire when ready. Dozens of projectiles smaller than footballs launched from hidden positions across the red planet. They moved slowly compared to energy weapons, but when they hit their targets, the results were devastating. The torpedoes didn't explode. Instead, they destabilized matter at the quantum level, making enemy ships simply cease to exist. Captain Kim Taesung led his fighter squadron through the chaos of the largest space battle in galactic history. Around him, human pilots flew through energy storms and debris fields that would have been impossible for any other species to navigate. Ghost Squadron, target the alien supply ships. Cut off their ammunition. The human fighters moved like living things, dancing between massive enemy vessels and striking at weak points with surgical precision. Their AI-assisted targeting systems allowed them to hit targets that would have been impossible for organic pilots alone. Council-Speaker Thurin found himself in an unprecedented situation. Two species were fighting a massive battle in space claimed by neither side, and one of them might be the legendary architect's return to life. Science Coordinator? Zeph, he commanded. What can you tell me about the human weapons? Sir, they're using the solar system itself as a weapon. I've never seen anything like it. They've turned planets into gun platforms and asteroids into missile bases, and their ships? Small, fast, and incredibly maneuverable. They fight like they expect to be outnumbered but refuse to lose anyway. War Prime Vexthel watched his reinforcements arrive and felt a moment of hope. Surely Admiral Kethver's massive fleet could overwhelm these impossible humans, but as the battle unfolded, his hope turned to horror. The humans weren't just defending anymore. They were attacking. Dr. Kong Minji achieved the impossible in her laboratory beneath the moon. She successfully combined human quantum tunnel technology with captured Krallic space folding systems. The result was a faster-than-light drive that could outperform anything in known space. Aurora 2, this is Control. Are you ready for the test jump? Ready, Dr. Kang. Where do you want us to go? Behind their main fleet. Show them that distance means nothing to us now. The experimental ship vanished from Earth orbit and reappeared seconds later in the middle of the Krallic's formation. The psychological effect was devastating. The aliens had never faced an enemy that could appear anywhere at will. Admiral Li Sujin commanded humanity's deep space fleet from the bridge of the battleship. New Seoul, the ship had been disguised as a space station for 20 years, but now its true nature was revealed. All units, this is Sujin. Execute Battle Plan Omega. Hit them from every direction at once. Ships emerged from hiding places throughout the solar system. Asteroid bases revealed themselves as mobile battle platforms. The moon opened like a flower, revealing the massive warship hidden inside its core. Colonel Park Jae-hyun led his Shadow Battalion in the most dangerous mission of the war. They were boarding Admiral Kethfer's flagship while the battle raged around them. Remember, he told his soldiers as their stealth ship approached the massive alien vessel. We need their command codes. If we can take control of their fleet, we can end this without destroying every ship. The Krallic's corridors were filled with panic as human soldiers moved through them like ghosts. Park's men used non-lethal weapons when possible, stunning alien crew members instead of killing them. Engineer Lim Jong-suk's weapons were proving devastatingly effective. The Singularity torpedoes didn't just destroy ships, they made other Krallics. Captains afraid to advance, knowing that any hit from the strange human weapons meant complete annihilation. Sir, his assistant reported, the aliens are starting to retreat from the outer system. Good, but don't let them escape entirely. We need some of them alive to tell the story. Dr. Park So-min made a crucial discovery while analyzing the battle. Data, the Krallics weren't just random invaders. They were fleeing from something in their home territory. Admiral Sujin, she broadcast on the command frequency. The aliens are refugees. Something drove them from their homeworld. What kind of something? I'm not sure. But their ship shows signs of damage from weapons we've never seen before. Council Speaker Thurn watched the battle with growing amazement. The humans weren't just winning. They were demonstrating tactical brilliance that reminded him of stories from the earliest days of galactic civilization. Science Coordinator, have you finished your analysis of the planet Earth? Yes, sir, and the results are impossible to believe. Tell me. Council Speaker, the planet isn't natural. It's an artificial construct designed to look like a world. The entire thing is a massive spaceship that's been sleeping for millions of years. Captain Taesung received orders that made him pause in the middle of combat. He was to escort a diplomatic shuttle to Admiral Kethfer's flagship. Even in the middle of the largest space battle in history, humanity was trying to end the conflict through negotiation. Ghost Leader to diplomatic shuttle, form up on my wing. We're going to have a conversation with the enemy commander. Ambassador. Yoon Ji-woo found herself shuttling between 3 different species as she tried to prevent the battle from escalating further. The Galactic Council wanted the fighting to stop. The humans wanted to protect their world. The Krallics wanted to salvage their honor. Admiral Kethfer, she broadcast on an open channel. This is Ambassador Ji-woo representing Earth. We need to talk. Humans do not negotiate with the Krallics Empire, came the harsh reply. Then you'll lose your entire fleet for nothing. Is your pride worth the lives of all your soldiers? General Song Haijin prepared to activate humanity's ultimate weapon. Deep beneath Earth's surface, ancient architect systems were coming fully online. The planet itself was preparing to defend its children. All units, fall back to defensive positions. We're about to show them what Earth can really do. The planet's surface began to glow as energy systems that had slept for millions of years awakened. Massive weapons turrets rose from hidden positions. The atmosphere itself started to shimmer with protective shields. War Prime Vexthal watched in horror as the primitive world transformed into something from his people's oldest nightmares. Energy readings were climbing to levels that could threaten entire star systems. War Prime, his communications officer reported with a shaking voice. Admiral Kethfer is requesting permission to withdraw. The humans have weapons that can destroy our entire species. Admiral Kethfer made the hardest decision of his military career. His massive fleet was being systematically destroyed by an enemy that seemed to anticipate his every move. Pride was one thing, but extinction was another. All units, cease fire. Signal the council ships. We request immediate ceasefire negotiations. Council Speaker Thurin felt relief flood through his energy form. The battle was ending before it could escalate to the point of galactic war. Ambassador Ji Woo, he broadcast. The Kraliks have agreed to negotiations. Can your people cease hostilities? We can, Council Speaker, but we have conditions. What conditions? This is our space, our system, our world. Any negotiations happen on our terms. As the massive battle slowly ground to a halt, one thing became clear to everyone involved. Humanity was not going to be anyone's victim. They had hidden their strength for decades, but now the galaxy would have to accept them as equals. The age of human isolation was over. The age of human expansion was about to begin. Professor Han Jiaite stood in his laboratory deep beneath Seoul, staring at data that changed everything he thought he knew about human history. The quantum signatures from the battle had unlocked ancient files buried in Earth's geological record. This can't be right, he whispered to his assistant. These readings suggest that human DNA contains markers from outside our galaxy. Professor, the dating is consistent. The samples are millions of years old, but they show clear signs of artificial enhancement. Jiaite felt his world shifting as the implications became clear. Humanity hadn't evolved naturally on Earth. They had been placed here by someone else. Someone who had very good reasons for hiding. Dr. Park So-min received Professor Han's data, while she worked frantically to understand the alien refugees. The Kraliks weren't just invaders. They were running from something terrible in their home galaxy. Dr. Park, her assistant called out urgently, we're getting transmissions from deep space. Multiple ships approaching at incredible speed. More. Kraliks? No, these are human ships. But they're coming from outside our galaxy entirely. Ambassador Chun Wei-ming commanded the colony fleet that had been traveling through the void between galaxies for generations. Her people had left Earth millions of years ago, spreading human civilization across distant star clusters while the homeworld slept. Navigation, how long until we reach Earth? She asked from the bridge of the massive ship Distant Hope. 6 hours, Admiral. The old beacon signals are getting stronger. Good, it's time our cousins learned the truth about who they really are. Council Ancient Morden was the oldest being in galactic civilization. He had lived for over 1,000,000 years, keeping secrets that most council members were not allowed to know. Today, those secrets would finally be revealed. Council Speaker Thurin, he said in a voice like whisper through time. Bring me to the human homeworld immediately. There are things about these people that you must understand. Council Ancient, what aren't you telling me? Everything, young one, everything. War Prime Vexthal found himself facing something no Kraliks warrior had ever experienced honorable defeat. As he stood in the conference room aboard the council ship, he looked at the human representatives with new respect. Your tactics were brilliant, he admitted to Admiral Lee Soo-jin. My people have never faced an enemy who could turn an entire star system into a weapon. We had good teachers, Soo-jin replied cryptically. Our ancestors faced worse threats than you can imagine. Captain Kim Tae-sung escorted the ancient council ancient to Earth's surface in his fighter. As they descended through the atmosphere, he couldn't help but notice how the planet itself seemed to be waking up. Ancient structures were rising from the ground everywhere. Captain, Morden said over the comm system. Your people call this world Earth, but its real name is something quite different. What do you mean? This planet is called Sanctuary. It was built by the architects as a refuge for their children during the Great War that destroyed 2 galaxies. Dr. Kang Minji made her greatest discovery while analyzing the planet's awakening systems. The faster-than-light technology she had been developing wasn't new at all. It was based on knowledge buried in human genetic memory. This is incredible, she told her research team. Our DNA doesn't just contain biological information. It contains technological blueprints. We've been carrying the plans for interstellar civilization in our genes for millions of years. Professor Han Jae joined the growing group of humans who were learning their true history. As Earth's ancient systems came online, they revealed archives that had been waiting for this moment. Look at this, he showed Ambassador Yoongi Woo on the main display. Human civilization didn't start on Earth, it started in the Andromeda Galaxy. We're refugees from a war that destroyed entire galactic clusters. What kind of war could do that? Ji Woo asked. The kind that made our ancestors decide to hide their children and wait for a better time. Council Ancient Morden stood in the newly revealed chamber deep beneath Earth's surface, surrounded by technology that made even his ancient knowledge seem primitive. Council Speaker Thurin, he said solemnly. Meet the true rulers of this galaxy. The architects didn't disappear. They went to sleep, waiting for their children to be ready to inherit what they left behind. Admiral Choi Hyun-woo felt a strange sensation as Earth's ancient systems fully activated. Suddenly, knowledge flowed into his mind, tactical information. technological blueprints, and most importantly, the location of every other architect refuge in the galaxy. My God, he whispered, there are dozens of them. Hidden worlds throughout the galaxy, all waiting for the signal to wake up. Ambassador Shen Wei-Ming's fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel just as Earth's transformation reached its peak. Her ships were massive beyond imagination, carrying the collected knowledge and population of 100 star systems. Earth Control, this is Admiral Chun of the Outer Colonies. We've come home. Admiral Chun, came Admiral Sujin's reply. Welcome back. We have much to discuss. Engineer Lim Jong-suk watched in amazement as his quantum weapons were revealed to be primitive copies of much more advanced architect technology. The real weapons were built into Earth itself, capable of defending entire star systems. No wonder our designs work so well, he said to his team. We weren't inventing new technology. We were remembering old technology. War Prime Vexthal found himself in the strangest position of his military career. Instead of being executed as a failed invader, he was being offered an alliance by the very people he had tried to conquer. Your people are warriors, Admiral Sujin explained to him. The galaxy needs warriors to defend it from the threats that drove our ancestors to hide. We're offering you the chance to fight a war worth fighting. Against what enemy? The ones who destroyed Andromeda? They're still out there, and they're still coming. Dr. Park So-min made the final piece of the puzzle fall into place as she studied the data from Admiral Chun's fleet. The Kralliks weren't just random invaders. They were fleeing from the same enemy that had driven humanity to hide millions of years ago. The Devourers, she said to the assembled leaders. That's what our ancestors called them. They consume entire galaxies, turning all matter and energy into more of themselves. Council Speaker Thurn faced the complete transformation of everything he thought he knew about galactic civilization. The Galactic Council wasn't the oldest authority in the galaxy. They were just the caretakers keeping things running until the real authorities returned. Ambassador Jiwoo, he said formally. On behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally request that humanity resume its role as the protectors of galactic civilization. We accept, Jiwoo replied. But things will be different this time. We won't hide from threats. We'll face them directly. Captain Tae-sung piloted the first human ship to visit the Galactic Council's home system, carrying diplomatic teams that would restructure interstellar law. Humanity was no longer seeking membership in galactic civilization. They were reclaiming their position as its founders. Professor Han Ji-tae worked with Council Ancient Morden to unlock the remaining architect archives. Planet after planet throughout the galaxy began revealing hidden technology and sleeping populations. How many of our people are out there? Ji-tae asked. Billions, Morden replied. Scattered across 1,000 worlds, all waiting for the call to wake up and rebuild what was lost. General Song Haijin took command of the largest military force in galactic history as human fleets emerged from hidden bases throughout known space. The defensive network she had built around Earth was just the beginning. Admiral Cheon Wei-Ming brought news from the void between galaxies that made everyone understand the urgency of their situation. The Devourers have finished consuming Andromeda, she reported to the assembled leaders. Our long-range sensors show them beginning to move toward the Milky Way. We have perhaps 100 years before they arrive. Then we better get ready, Admiral Sujin replied. This time, we won't run. Ambassador Yoon Ji-woo stood before the assembled representatives of 800 species and delivered the words that would define the next age of galactic history. The age of hiding is over. The age of running is over. Humanity has returned, and we're not going anywhere. Together, we will build a civilization strong enough to face any threat. Together, we will ensure that no species ever has to hide in fear again. War Prime Vexthal, now bearing the title of Alliance War Commander, led the first joint human Kralliks fleet toward the Galactic Rim, where advanced scouts were already preparing defenses against an enemy that had destroyed entire galaxies. As Earth completed its transformation from hidden refuge to the capital of a new galactic alliance, one thing became clear to everyone involved. Humanity had spent millions of years preparing for this moment. Now, it was time to show the universe what the children of the architects could really accomplish when they stopped hiding and started building. The galaxy would never be the same. And for the first time in millions of years, that was exactly what humanity wanted.